Autumn's Embrace, Chapter 6. The day after the harvest festival dawned in Willow Creek with a soft golden light streaming through the bare trees, the air crisp and clean, carrying the earthy scent of fallen leaves. The memory of the festival still lingered in Elliot's mind as he stood on the front porch of his farmhouse, sipping his morning coffee. He had spent more time with Lily than he had expected, and there was a growing warmth between them that he couldn't ignore. It was subtle, like the gradual change of seasons, a slow burn that hinted at something more. He found himself thinking about her more often, about her laugh, her easy smile, and the way she seemed so at ease with herself, with her surroundings. There was a calm about Lily that Elliot found deeply comforting, something he had never encountered in his previous relationships. In the city, everything had been fast-paced, always moving forward, with a little time to savor the moments in between. But here in Willow Creek, and especially in Lily's presence, time seemed to slow, allowing him to breathe, to appreciate, to feel. He finished his coffee, setting the mug down on the porch railing before heading inside to grab his jacket. He had a few things to take care of in town today, some groceries to pick up, and a trip to the hardware store for a few items he needed for the farmhouse. But more than that, he found himself looking forward to the chance that he might run into Lily again. He wasn't sure what to call the feelings that were building between them, but he knew he wanted to explore them further. As he made his way into town, the streets were quiet, the aftermath of the festival still evident in the form of leftover decorations and hail bells that hadn't been yet cleared away. The town felt peaceful in the way only a small town could, a place where the world seemed to pause for a moment, letting you catch your breath. Elliot's first stop was the hardware store, a small family-run shop with shelves packed full of tools, paint, and anything else you might need to fix up an old house like his. And he wandered the aisles, scanning the shelves for the items on his list. He caught sight of a familiar face. "Elliot! Hey!" came the cheerful voice of Jeff, the town's handyman, and Lily's older brother. He was tall and broad-shouldered with a kind of easygoing demeanor that made him likable right off the bat. Jeff had been one of the first people Elliot met when he moved into town, and he had already helped him with a few of the more complicated repairs at the farmhouse. "Hey, Jeff," Elliot replied, giving him a nod. "Just picking up a few things for the house." "Good idea," Jeff said, grinning as he walked over. "That old place has a lot of charm, but it's definitely a fixer-upper. Need any help with anything?" "I think I've got it for now," Elliot said, though he appreciated the offer. "I'm getting the hang of it. Slowly." Jeff chuckled, leaning against one of the shelves. "That's the thing about living out here. You figure things out as you go, and if you don't, well, there's always someone willing to lend a hand." Elliot smiled, knowing firsthand that was true. One of the things he was coming to appreciate about Willow Creek was the sense of community, the way people looked out for each other. It was something that had been missing from his life in the city, where people rarely spoke to their neighbors, much less offered to help with anything. "So," Jeff said, his tone shifting slightly, "how'd you like the Harvest Festival? Lily told me you were there yesterday." Elliot tried to keep his expression casual, but he could feel the smile tugging at the corners of his mouth. "It was great. I had a good time." "Yeah?" Jeff said, his grin widening. "Lily seemed to think so too. She mentioned you'd help her out with the kids section." Elliot chuckled, rubbing the back of his neck. "Yeah, I wasn't sure I'd be much help, but it ended up being fun." "Lily has that effect on people," Jeff said with a knowing look. "She's always been good at bringing out the best in others." Elliot nodded, not entirely sure how to respond. He wasn't used to talking about his feelings, much less with someone who was essentially Lily's older brother. But there was no denying the truth in Jeff's words. Lily had a way of making people feel comfortable, of making them want to be better, to slow down and appreciate the world around them. "She's special," Elliot said finally, his voice quiet. Jeff's grin softened into a genuine smile. "Yeah, she is. And she seems to think you're pretty special too." Elliot felt a warmth spread through his chest at the words. He hadn't been sure what Lily thought of him, but hearing it from Jeff made something inside him settle, like a puzzle piece falling into place. They chatted for a bit longer, Jeff offering advice on some of the repairs Elliot was working on before they had parted ways. As Elliot left the hardware store, he couldn't shake the feeling that things were shifting between him and Lily, that what had started as a simple friendship was evolving into something more. His next stop was the grocery store, where he picked up a few essentials for the week. As he walked down the aisles, his mind wandered back to the festival, to the way Lily's eyes had sparkled with laughter as they worked together on the leaf crowns for the kids. There was a connection between them, something unspoken but undeniable, and he found himself looking forward to the next time they would cross paths. As fate would have it, that next time came sooner than he expected. Elliot was just leaving the grocery store, a bag of groceries in hand, when he spotted Lily walking down the street, her arms full of books from the local library. She hadn't seen him yet, and for a moment he simply watched her, appreciating the easy grace with which she moved, the way the autumn sunlight seemed to catch in her hair, making it glow like the leaves around her. "Lily," he called out, walking toward her. She turned at the sound of his voice, a smile spreading across her face when she saw him. "Elliot, fancy seeing you here." "I could say the same," he said with a grin. "Need any help with those?" He gestured to the stack of books in her arms. "Oh, thanks, but I've got it," Lily said, though she shifted the weight of the books to one arm. "Just picking up some things for my class." Elliot nodded, falling into step beside her as they walked down the street. "How's teaching going?" "It's great," Lily said, her eyes lighting up as she talked about her students. "They're such a curious bunch, always asking questions and coming up with creative ideas. It keeps me on my toes, but I love it." Elliot smiled, listening to the passion in her voice. There was something infectious about the way Lily talked about teaching, about the way she clearly cared for her students. It was one of the many things he admired about her: her dedication, her kindness, her ability to find joy in the simple act of helping others learn. As they walked, the conversation flowed easily, as it always seemed to with Lily. They talked about the town, about the repairs Elliot was working on at the farmhouse, and about the upcoming school events Lily was preparing for. It was comfortable, natural, as if they had known each other for much longer than they actually had. When they reached the corner where their paths would part, Lily paused, turning to face him. "It was good seeing you today, Elliot," she said, her smile warm. "Yeah, you too," Elliot replied, feeling that familiar warmth spread through him again. For a moment they stood there, the autumn leaves swirling around them in the breeze, the world quiet and still. There was something unspoken between them, a connection that neither of them had fully acknowledged yet, but that was becoming more apparent with each passing day. "I'll see you around," Lily said, her voice soft. "Definitely," Elliot replied, his smile matching hers. They parted ways, but as Elliot walked back to his farmhouse, he couldn't help but feel that something had shifted between them. The slow burn of their friendship was turning into something more, something deeper. It was subtle, like the changing of the seasons, but it was there, an undeniable connection that was growing stronger with each passing day. As he stepped onto the porch of his farmhouse, the late afternoon sun casting long shadows across the yard, Elliot felt a sense of peace settle over him. The life he was building in Willow Creek, the friendships he was forming, and the slow, steady rhythm of the town, it all felt right. And Lily, with her warm smile and kind heart, was becoming a part of that rhythm in a way he hadn't expected. He wasn't sure where things would go from here, but for the first time in a long time, Elliot was content to let the future unfold at its own pace. The slow burn was worth the wait. If you like this chapter of Autumn's Embrace, please leave a like, comment, don't forget to share and follow, and stay tuned for Chapter 7 of Autumn's Embrace.